Alright. Um, prime your canvas with a thin layer of white paint and get into it with your yellow. In this painting, I'm going to be using a few large bristle brushes. And you're going to want a few of these brushes around on this painting because you want to keep them dry. And after you use them a few times, they're no longer going to work because they're going to have paint on them. Alright, so I'm just laying down a couple different colors here. Some lavender, peach, pink. And again, these are acrylics, but they're moving around so well because you already primed the canvas with white paint, so they kind of just slide around on there. And this is my favorite brush. I use it all the time. I lost it for a little while recently, but I just found it, so I'll try and find it on Amazon and link it below. I use it a lot. And here I'm just blending with that same brush that I just came in and put color on with. And there's one of those dry brushes. I'm just lightly touching the canvas and pushing these colors around together, making the sky look a little more blended. This is still a dry brush. We're still blending. Alright, I'm getting a little bold with some bright purple in the corner right here. Blend it in. I think I'm picking up a little bit more because I like that purple. It's got a little bit of that blue and some purple in it. And there I'm just doing some darker spots that'll end up being in the water reflection to kind of mimic the dark spots in the sky. And we're blending. Also here later in the painting we're going to use a lot of black, so I would advise to get 2 water bowls or 2 ways to clean your brushes because at the end of using all that black later, your water is going to be pretty dark and you're going to need to do highlights after that. So get 2 bowls of water. I think that's just some white and I'm brightening it up. I think really I'm just kind of celebrating this larger canvas and playing around with the sky a little bit. Put some more white to brighten up that piece over there. I believe that's a dry brush as well. Deepening up that blue in the corner. I was trying to keep this painting nice and pastel, but I just like those contrasts, so I'm into it, and so I put more. And again, in this one, I'm not looking at anything, so I'm just kind of playing off the colors and what, you know, what they want to do. So this is going to be your reflection in your lake. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. All right. And here again, this bottom part of the canvas is primed as well with thin layer of white paint. Just using that medium, oh, I guess it's a big brush. And here I don't reload anything, I'm just kind of pushing these colors around that are already in it. Sometimes you come from one side and push into another, and it makes a really cool color that you could never make again. So yeah, just play around with this part of it, add different colors, there's no really rhyme or reason to reflections in water, so you can't go wrong. Now if you're copying a painting or a picture or something, then that's different if you want it to look exactly like the painting or the other picture, but in that case you should probably just look at the picture. Alright, look at that. That's what's cool about painting and art. You can do whatever you want. So here my peach and my pink paint kind of ran together, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. So I just put it on my brush, dunked it right in there, and we'll see what happens. And that's what you get. Not planned, but super cool. Alright, now I'm loading up a fan brush with some black paint. You want to do this fairly fast after you get done doing your water because you're going to blend it later. You won't be able to if it dries. So you're going to want to do this part pretty fast. Obviously not this fast, that's crazy. This is sped up, but do it as, just commit and do it as fast as you're comfortable with. And you just pick that horizon line. I was reloading my brush right there and kind of just work your way up and down it because those are your trees on the top and that's your reflection on the bottom. The taller the tree on the top, the longer the reflection. And use your biggest fan brush for this, obviously, or else it's going to take you forever. I'm super fast. Right after that, you're going to get a medium flat brush, load it with black paint. And run it straight across. Now that's your line from which you're going to pull down some of your reflection. You're going to get another dry, large brush, medium in this case, and pull straight down. And you're not reloading, you're not doing anything, you're just pulling that paint down that you just set down. And across. And this mimics some of the branches that are on the trees. And that's your reflection in your lake. There's more, hold on. About now is when your water is getting really dirty, so you should definitely switch over. Loaded a fan brush with some of that lavender. As you can see, that black is still not quite dry, but for the sake of time, I went ahead and did it. You should probably let that part dry. And use whatever color you want. Just make it a lighter color and make it look like there's a little bit of brush coming up right there in front of those trees. Then I think you're going to get that same flat medium brush and you're going to get some brown or beige colored paint to mimic some soil and land, a little shoreline. And here's the same brush, cleaned and reloaded with white paint. You're doing a few bright reflection lines. And it looks like the brightness from the sky is really popping off that lake. And really, you could be done here if you wanted to. But I didn't want to, so. These are going to be your bigger trees. After this, you're going to load up a big fan brush with some black paint. See how I flip it over and load it in both spots? Like really load it up with paint. Start with the corner of your brush and sort of work your way down. I thought it would be nice to leave some of the trunk in this one. Maybe she's not so, so thick. And they get fuller on the bottom of the trees. It comes down to a little island. And you're washing your fan brush, and that is definitely going to dirty up your new water, but what can you do? Here's your reflection of your big tree and his little friend. Here's your dry brush and your reflections. And see, I'm waiting a little bit because I want to come in with those highlights for the big tree, but I know that that paint is too wet still and it's just going to sop up all that light color. So, in theory, wait till that black paint is all the way dry and then come back in with your highlights and it's going to work 75% better. So I'm tired of waiting, and here I come with these highlights. And just sort of let the shape of the fan brush do its work. Later on, I'll show you guys how to do some palm trees with them too. So there's the little tree behind it, silhouette. Put a few sticks and stuff around. I wasn't in love with that brush, so here I'm putting in some brown or beige and getting some soil or some land right there for that island to sit on. And your white highlights with that same flat brush. There you go. Highlights for the little tree. Now I'm loading up a smaller fan brush with black, and I'm just putting using some of the edges to put some branches and things like that on these background trees. Break it up a little bit. So there it is, guys. Have fun and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.